Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Tuesday, February the 6th. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to dive into as people start to come in and expand. Look at this hit list right now. The 49ers, Brett Favre, Eagles, Commanders, Justin Fields, King James, some political stuff. We're not going to go down that road, but I got something to mention for you and a quote to end the day. But let's dive into it right now because the 49ers have a lot going on. And for the Super Bowl, people are like, well, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see the Chiefs and the 49ers. Okay, who do you got and what is the concerns right now? So after watching some of the news yesterday and hearing what the commissioner, Roger Goodell, had to say, they have some issues with the field. And obviously Brock Purdy here shows up ready to practice, ready to go. Obviously Deebo Samuel, you got George Kittle, you got Christian McCaffrey, they're ready to go. But they are concerned with the field at which they are practicing on. And Howard, you can pull that up right behind there. They are practicing at the UNLV practice facility. Now, the problem is they are saying the field is too soft. They're claiming the field is no good for practice. So it's already turmoil, right? It's like, if the Super Bowl is coming up, they're practicing, and the 49ers are complaining that the field is too soft. It's going to have, it's going to cause injuries. There's going to be problems with that, and they're concerned. But let's go behind this. Look where you have the Chiefs practicing, at the Raiders complex. So they're pretty excited because they got a really nice facility, and I'm not knocking, either side, but it's quite obvious that they're pretty upset about this. And so right now, people are like, okay, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is the 49ers are saying they don't have the proper setup. The field is too soft. And if you haven't played, football on this type of grass, there's movement. There's injuries that occur with that. So now there's all this turmoil. And Roger Goodell says, look, don't worry about it. We had so many people come inspect the field. This should be fine. They had 23 or so odd experts. And if I pull that picture up again, Howard, can you go back to the picture for me real quick just to show them what we're talking about here? The initial, can you get back to that for me? Yes, here we go. Now, this field, they're apparently saying that there's major concerns and it's considered too soft and could lead to bad footing and issues. But Roger Goodell was really defensive about this. I'm talking super defensive. And so people are like, well, what's the situation? What are they going to do? They really can't do anything at this point. They're just in a position where they got to just deal with it. Just deal with it. Now, pull that other picture up again for me real quick for me, Howard. Where are the, okay, so why this is interesting, right, is Patrick Mahomes is already going through a lot of turmoil. And that's because his father, but at least they get to practice here. This is some of the plus. So, all I got to say about this right now is, are they going to make this a big issue? Are they going to make this a big concern? Is this going to be an ongoing event? Is this going to be an ongoing conversation and argument now until the Super Bowl starts? Right? That's what we're looking at. And Brock Purdy's like, I just want to practice and play football. And this whole thing's blowing up into something where it's like, here's your field. You kind of got your game plan installed before you showed up. You've been preparing now for the Chiefs. I don't think this is going to be an issue whatsoever. But if anything, the flip side, Patrick Mahomes has more things to worry about. He's in more turmoil, more concerns than anybody else right now in the National Football League with his father, who is looking at possible prison time. So basically right now, I think they should just deal with this field, get by. All these experts said it's okay, move forward and let this thing wash up. I still think Brock Purdy is ready to go. The 49ers have a great opportunity. And I said, I had Brock Purdy as winning the game. I like the 49ers in this matchup. I just do. But because of the situation where Patrick Mahomes is up against with his father, I'm rooting for him. I want him to get through some of the turmoil and actually win another Super Bowl. Brock Purdy deserves it. I actually wanted him to win the whole time. But at this point, I just feel bad. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But father, that looks like he's going to do some jail time, money or not. People said yesterday, oh, no, money's going to get him out of this. Well, he did 40 days last time. Patrick Mahomes' father did 40 days in jail last time because it was a reoccurring incident with the DWI, and now it's back in question. That's the conversation. Hopefully the field isn't an issue and they can move forward and play a Super Bowl that all the people can come out and enjoy out in Las Vegas. But moving on to Brett Favre. Okay, now this is very interesting. A lot of people before said, oh, Brett Favre, you know, this is terrible. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. But here's the story. The nation's poorest state in Mississippi, okay, they're saying, and so I don't get sued. He's been suing a lot of people and reaching out to people. Pat McAfee's been sued. Shannon Sharp's been sued. All these people being sued. But I'm not saying anything against what he's done. I'm not saying that it's true. Somebody hears that. I'm not trying to get sued either. But here it is. The nation's poorest state, Mississippi, used welfare money to pay Brett Favre for speeches he never made. And then it says the state auditor says $70 million in federal welfare funds went to Brett Favre, a volleyball complex, and a former pro wrestler in a scandal that rocked Mississippi. Brett Favre earned nearly $140 million as an NFL quarterback over 2 decades, millions more produced in endorsements. But what they're saying is that didn't stop the state of Mississippi from paying Brett Favre $1.1 million in 17 and 18 for the speeches he's never actually even done. But here's the thing. People that are upset with Brett Favre, he's come back and he's paid a large amount of money back to the state of Mississippi. The problem is, and the concern is, now they're saying, oh, because of the delay in all that money, now you owe back interest and all these other things and are hitting them for $700,000 more dollars. The concern is this. Anybody else in the position of Brett Favre, if you were found guilty, and people that were part of the scandal that was also in this direction were also pleaded guilty already. Now, if you were found guilty, you were in my shoes or someone else's shoes, and you took money from the state of Mississippi, do you think you're going to just walk out? Listen, we're talking millions of dollars. If you could right now take $150 from the state of Mississippi, you'd be in trouble. This is millions of dollars, and this is a big problem because if, quote unquote, he is guilty and he just walks away, he pays the money back, walks away, that's not what typically happens. People have to pay stuff back, reinstatement fees, all this other stuff, fines, regulations, and jail time. So basically, do you think in the chat right now, if you're watching this, do you think that Brett Favre should just walk away on this, pay the money and get out, or should he go to jail? Right? Should Brett Favre do jail time if, quote unquote, he is found guilty of that? That's a question that people are talking about right now because it just flew back in the media and people are like, whoa, this flew under the radar a little bit. After it was so high, it went away. When he can do that, not saying that Brett Favre did that. I'm just saying, I want to know what you guys think. Is he guilty? If he is guilty, should he do jail time? Very, very concerning because Brett Favre was a legend. A legend. Moving on right now to the Eagles. Now, they have been selected by the NFL to play in Brazil for the first time. And this is significant for a lot of things and a lot of reasons because here's the thing. They've never done that. The NFL has never expanded like that. And why I want to explain this is soccer, the global sport. Now, in America, football is America's sport, and it has been for a long time and probably forever will be. But if you go abroad and you look at the world in the whole, soccer is very predominant. Soccer is probably or arguably the number one sport in the world. Now, in America, football is America's sport. And slowly but surely, soccer's coming in more and more. Rightfully so, it's a great sport, and it is. But why is this important? Because they're building a bigger footprint. The NFL is expanding outside of territories, that used to be in other places. And everybody watching this, good morning to you. Good morning to everybody coming into the chat. If you're watching, comment where you're from. I'd love for you guys to start joining more and being more involved in the show. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, I hope he brings a lot of motivation and excitement. Because if he plays like he's been playing and he's not excited to go and ready to go and put on a show and jump in and being that exciting player to watch, Brazil's going to go, oh my God, soccer is more fun. So we don't want that. We want the Eagles to get out there and produce and keep building football and spread. And Roger Goodell, the NFL, the commission, everyone there, expanding the footprint is important. It's important to continuously grow. Obviously, CFL, Canada has a CFL football organization. And hopefully, around the world, people can start, there are other pro teams around. But I'm just saying, this is an opportunity for Brazil to kind of jump in and go, okay, more football, because that's what soccer is doing. So hopefully, Jalen Hurts can step it up and be motivated and see who they play against in Brazil. It'll be very interesting to find out. But let's move on to something very interesting. Actually, it's more interesting. Jerry Jones, here you go, Mike McCarthy here on the left, have made a decision to have their guy here, Mr. Quinn, move on. Okay? So what's going on is Dan Quinn, the former coach of the Cowboys, a coach, has moved on and is hired as the head coach for the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, he's saying thank you. He's moving on. He's got a head coaching position. He's pumped and ready to go. Here's where this gets more interesting. Not only did the Washington Commanders hire Dan Quinn, they hired Cliff Kingsbury. For you guys watching this, Cliff Kingsbury came from USC, where he just was an offensive analyst for USC, where he coached Caleb Williams. So Washington has the second pick. Make sure I have all this correct. They have the second pick in the draft. Obviously, the Bears have number 1. With all the conversation with, okay, Caleb Williams doesn't want to go to Chicago. Now, may or may not be true, but his team at first did not knock it. Nobody said anything. Now people are like, oh, no, that was debunked. He didn't say that. At the end of the day, here's the reality, okay? The Bears, someone's not happy about how they develop quarterbacks. And so you got a quarterback here, Caleb Williams, who's the number 1 quarterback in the draft right now, arguably going to be the first pick. Everyone's talking about that. If he doesn't go to the Bears, and I have the notes here, if he doesn't go to the Bears, the Washington Commanders are in striking distance from being able to pick him up as well. And they need a quarterback. And the offensive coordinator is Cliff Kingsbury, who just coached Caleb Williams at USC. So it looks like it's possible that Caleb Williams could potentially go to the Commanders. So now you're going to have, Dan Quinn, you'll have Cliff Kingsbury, and now you could potentially get your first pick that you get, which is the second pick over on the draft for Washington, could potentially pick up Caleb Williams, which is very interesting because that would shake up everything, which leads to the next point in conversation. The Chicago Bears are still in shambles because they don't know what they're going to do. The Chicago Bears have their quarterback, Justin Fields, who they love. They were so high on. And he's a great quarterback, but it's just not working out in Chicago. So here's the question. If, in fact, Chicago says, no, we are going to take Caleb Williams. We're not going to let him pass by. We're not going to let him go to the Commanders. We're going to take him. And everyone said, no, he doesn't like them. And I also looked at it and said, well, his team's saying that. If, in fact, they don't take Justin Fields, right? Check this out. Here's the question. Justin Fields could potentially end up being traded if Caleb Williams goes to Chicago. Where will Justin Fields go? That's what everyone's talking about. Where will Justin Fields go? Well, I can tell you this. Howard, flip it over for me. Bam. Why does this make sense? Why would Justin Fields, go to the Atlanta Falcons? Well, it's pretty interesting. He was born and raised in Georgia, I believe Kennesaw. This is his first class ticket to go back home and play in front of his family, his friends. This gives him a real opportunity to say, look, I was great in college. It didn't work out for me in Chicago. And people, quite frankly, that keep saying they want to leave, that doesn't feel good either. So if I'm Justin Fields and I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, you don't even want me on your team. You don't even want me on your team. If they don't draft Caleb Williams, they're going to do themselves even more injustice because Justin Fields is like, all right, it's the NFL. I know every year you're going to want, players to come in. You're going to want to challenge me. You're going to want to challenge everybody around here. But certain teams have their quarterbacks. Quote, unquote, they have their quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, good or bad, he's a quarterback. You got people like Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You can go all the way down. Even people like Joe Burrow, even Baker Mayfield is going to make $40 million this year, probably will come back and play for the Bucs. But Justin Fields gets no love. Yeah, he looks cool out there. He's dressed for the occasion. He looks like he could be a quarterback, but they're not really showing him any love there. So at the end of the day, if I'm Justin Fields and I'm looking in the media and people are like, okay, he's going to be traded. We're taking Caleb Williams. This is the first pick in the draft. They can make an opportunity out there in Chicago that could change everything. Bring in a receiver. I'd be sitting in the locker room going, guys, I'm still here. I'm your quarterback. What's the issue? I mean, we got to grow and build together. I haven't been here that long. So if in fact they don't take Caleb Williams, Justin Fields could be the starter, but he just doesn't feel loved there. I think at the quarterback position, you got to go where you feel loved. You got to go where you're excited to play. You got to go where your family and friends support you. That's why I'm saying the Atlanta Falcons could be a big deal, a big situation. The only other team really that comes to mind right now that I have on here are the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's an option for the young 24-year-old quarterback, which could bring in a lot of competition, right? Could bring in a lot of competition for Kenny Pickett. But the problem again comes into then you got to pay all this money for another quarterback. And so that's an issue. If you're in the chat right now, welcome. Comment in the chat. Don't be scared. Say hello. Put where you're from. I'd love to have you in here. But moving on from Justin Fields, I just got to say, if you're in the NFL and you love what you do, you put your blinders on. You just play football. I understand how you're getting paid money. You go where you go. But you still have emotion. You're still competitive. You still love what you're doing, and you have passion behind your daily activity and your practice. You want to go where you love and support it. But check this out. Let's move on to King James and why this is in conversation again with LeBron. So LeBron James, obviously, they just beat the Knicks. And the fans are like, whoa, LeBron is a beast. But more important, okay, this is all I got to say. And I have another picture to pull up here in a second. But this is really what is in conversation right now for King James, okay? Where is he going to go? He has a player option contract. Where is he going to play? Well, check this out. So King James, after the game, and, LeBron is the man, so he does what he wants, but he's wearing a Knicks towel. Now, here's what I'll say. A lot of people are going to blow this up. Oh, my God, he wore a Knicks towel. He's going to go to the Knicks. I'm not saying the man can't just use a towel, regardless if it's whatever team, doesn't matter. But let me tell you something. LeBron James is not just wearing a Knicks towel for no reason at all, okay? LeBron James has coming up a player option. For people watching, this means he does not have to play next year for the Lakers. And all the conversation with his son, Bronny, where he's going to go, what's going to happen, all this is in conversation now too. But where is LeBron James going to play basketball next season? Does he want to stay with the Lakers? Here's what I think. A lot of people, LeBron has done almost everything in the world in basketball, from MVPs to championships. He's played for, I don't got to pull it up, whether it's the Heat, the Cavs, the Lakers. He's played in all the places he really has to play, except people, Madison Square Garden. Why is this significant? Because Madison Square Garden is one of the most spectacular places to be at any given time, any event, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's UFC, whatever it is, whether it's a concert. I mean, this is a magical place to play. Here is the thing. LeBron James right now has his player option season coming up where he can say, you know what, I want to go somewhere else. And they can work on that whole contract of where he wants to go and where he wants to play. Now, Los Angeles is a great place to retire when you have money like LeBron James. But when you don't, the taxes are crazy. So there's a lot of other opportunities to make money other places. New York is no different. New York tax is out of control too. But being in LeBron's shoes, all the money he's got, it really doesn't matter at this point. So the only place he hasn't really balled out and played would be for the New York Knicks. If he retired as a Los Angeles Laker, you know, the world would go, man, LeBron had an awesome career. One of the best of all time. But if LeBron retires as a New York Knick and possibly gets a chance to play with Bronny, it will be pretty cool. I'm just saying, to play Madison Square Garden. People are looking at it going, oh, no, don't worry about this. This is just a Knicks foul. Then some people are saying, oh, no, he's making a statement to the Lakers saying, hey, look, it's the player option time. You better use your trade window and your deadlines to get some players, bring some players in here so we can go for a national championship or for an NBA championship, because the Lakers have a shot at this year. But so do the Knicks. The Knicks are building up. So LeBron's just kind of probably threw a little, little drop in there, a little drop in the bucket for people to start talking about, a little buzz, if you will. And it was just kind of interesting to see LeBron, and hypothetically, possibly speaking, we could one day, if it could work out, see LeBron James playing for the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden would erupt New York in a whole nother atmosphere. I'm just saying it would be pretty cool and pretty exciting. Now, before anybody gets their panties in a bunch and starts getting worried right now, we're not going to talk about Donald Trump and about Joe Biden. That's not the part of the political conversation. The reason why these two people are up on the screen right now is not because I'm going into any politics. Everybody watching this right now, we're not talking politics. What I'm talking right now outside, well, we're talking politics, but we're not talking about the presidential, these two people here. We're talking about the people in sports. Should athletes get involved in politics? Okay, that's where I'm going with this. Should athletes get involved in politics? Here's my concern and my question. Athletes that are getting involved in politics right now, a lot of people are offered a lot of money to do a lot of things, right? You have election time. People are going up and saying, okay, yeah, I got paid to do this. I got paid to campaign for this. All these investments are coming in. I'm getting paid for that. And so people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, they go out there and they sell out stadiums and all that, and they come out and they say who they're voting for and yada, yada, yada. My opinion is this. If you're in the political space, good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm not running the political space. I don't want to run the political space, because all you do is divide yourself between people, and then you have people that love you and you have people that hate you now because you said you're going to vote Republican or Democratic, and that's just not my style of conversation, nor do I want to go out there in front of a lot of people and start talking about that. So what I'm saying is, all the athletes in the world that get out there and they're starting to say, my political spot, this is my, all you're doing is killing half the people that love you. Yeah, you grow a little bit from one side, right? People like Colin Kaepernick, you're kneeling on the field and people are like, oh yeah, I love him. And then somebody like, I hate that man. So all you do is divide a definitive line. When you play football, people are like, man, you're a great running back. You're a great quarterback. You're a great athlete. And people love you around the world if you're a good person. When you go out there and you draw that line in politics, you just basically lost half your fan base. You just basically lost half the job opportunities and career paths, which is sad, but it's true. You just lost a lot of friendships, which is also bad. And now you're just losing a lot of your own personal, you could be going down a path you might think is cool, but you're actually just losing a lot of your relationships down the road, right? And then you meet somebody, you're a guy playing football, you meet a girl, you have a political background, and all of a sudden, that family, that parent doesn't like what you do. They're like, oh my God, now I gotta, look, at the end of the day, I'm just saying, athletes, if you have a strong passion for a political stance, that's great, good for you. But if you're approached and you're paid to go campaign and you're not in the political space, my advice to you is not to do that. My advice to you is to just play sports. And don't take that route, because all you're going to do is put that definitive line between you and half the world. It's not worth it. I would suggest you just focus on sports. I didn't name anybody today purposely because they want to put them up and put them on blast because I don't think it's right, and I'm just going to move forward off that topic. Now, to close out today's show, I have a quote for you like I do every single day, and we're going to pull it up right now. Here's your quote of the day. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. What does this mean? Read it again here. Okay? And Beverly Stills has this listed as her quote, her famous quote of all time. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. And I'm going to tell you how this relates to me, but I'm going to explain this to you guys as well. Anything that you're doing in life, whether it's you're building a sports show like I'm doing or you're chasing another chapter, you're going to have these bumps in the road like any other quote will tell you. But this is important to me. Because when you get on here, you build good people that you love and support you and people that are watching my platform as it continues to grow. There's no shortcuts. It's be who you are, be authentic, get on here, talk, and do what you love and what you dream of doing. And then understand, follow the procedures, keep building in the right direction, keep building the love and the fan base and everybody around you because there's no shortcuts. Some people have been gifted and have been in the position where their parents have handed them certain things and they had better opportunities or they had better financial value from the start, and that's great. Some people would consider that a shortcut, but here's the thing. The people that are not given that might be working harder than them because they don't have that, and they go past those people because, look, at the end of the day, no matter what you're given, you still have to build. You still have to grow. You still got to do great or you fall. So yeah, my point of this quote is just this. Get up and do what you love. Follow your passion. But there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. If it's worthy and it's great and you love it, it's going to be hard to get to. It's going to be hard to accomplish. But the harder you work and give it your all and your effort, it will 100% be worth it when you finally reach, that totem pole, that victory lap, that stage, that podium, whatever you want to call it. It will be worth it. Guys, thanks for tuning in today to the show. Love to have you every single day as we go on. And we are doing a giveaway, as I told you, for the Super Bowl, a PlayStation Xbox giveaway. So make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to announce it on Friday on how you can do. All you got to do is subscribe and then message on the platform. But I'm going to give you one more thing you need to do, and you could win a PlayStation or Xbox. Thanks for tuning into today's show. I hope you have a great rest of the day and fantastic. And I will see you tomorrow, bright and early, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here on YouTube. Until next time.